Despite basically being a giant 2-hour commercial for working at Google, somehow that just now seems less appealing.
Having a beer with your boss.
If you want to grab a cold one with me, you let me know.
I will not be grabbing a cold one with you.
You get high?
The Internship is a fairly formulaic comedy where Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson are salesmen who are now out of a job because them and their product are now obsolete. So what do? With no skills and absolutely pretty much no knowledge of computers, they apply to Google. Smart choice. The first problem I have is just with believability. You know, yes, I understand Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn's characters are supposed to have like sales experience and stuff, but with zero computer experience, like especially in the world of programming and tech, I just don't see how out of probably thousands of applicants they could somehow get chosen for an internship at Google. At 2 hours long, this definitely felt like a long movie. I mean, there's just a lot of parts that just dragged on or did not even have to happen altogether. For example, I usually do complain about subplots, but for things like a comedy, especially this kind, I usually let the whole one character falls in love thing go, just because it's the more serious part of the movie and allows us to see a different side of the characters. But this one just went on and never really contributed anything to the characters or the movie as a whole. As far as pacing goes, the first half of this movie really began to drag on after a while. I will say, the second half of the movie was much more entertaining, much more fun, and was actually funny, but the first half just seemed, so much of it seemed unnecessary, especially Will Ferrell's extended cameo. I mean, what was the point of that? Seriously. I never expected this movie to have any sort of deep message about the technological world we live in nowadays, or the relevancy of human interaction, even in a technological world, but I did expect that there to be at least some sort of even lighthearted message about just the implications and realities of working at a tech company and how it's not always what it's chalked up to be, but there was not even any of that. At most times, it just felt so pointless. As far as positives go, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson worked very well together. They played off each other so well, much in the same way they did in Wedding Crashers. It was just a really good chemistry between the two. Most other characters, they were interesting to say the least. Some of them more so than others. The sort of villain guy was, he was so boring, if we're very honest. I think they tried to copy some elements of the Winklevosses from The Social Network and failed completely. Overall, the acting actually wasn't too bad in this movie. It was actually good at times for certain characters. But it was nothing special, no one's getting any awards, and not really much to mention anyways. Throughout the movie, each of the teams of interns are given different challenges, but the problem was each challenge was so predictable. Like, for example, the Quidditch challenge, it was the underdog thing, come from behind, and in other challenges you could easily tell that Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn's characters' ability to just sell people and interact very well were gonna come in and win it for this team. So I mean, it was just so predictable most parts. I'm not exactly expecting any sort of big twists, but they could have just mixed it up a little more. In the end, this movie wasn't overly memorable, but it wasn't that bad either. It was sort of a current events, kind of current culture movie that failed to really have any memorable or exciting moments, and I'm pretty sure no one's gonna remember this in a few years. But if I do have to give it a score, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. It had some things going for it, but unfortunately, nothing really worked properly for this movie. It was too long, character interaction wasn't the greatest, there was just so many cliches, it was predictable. I mean, the acting wasn't bad, but it wasn't standout either. So, what did you guys think of The Internship? Do you guys like other Vince Vaughn or Owen Wilson movies like Wedding Crashers? And are you one of 100 people left on planet Earth not using Google? Let me know down in the comment section below. Otherwise, like, favorite, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. Check out Vinny G and Jeremy John's reviews of this movie. Otherwise, see ya!